Chartlens. In today's video, let us study about JK Tyre company, fundamentally and technically. Before that, I just want to give standard disclaimer that this complete study is not for buy or sell recommendations. This is for purely educational purposes. So kindly contact your financial advisor for any kind of buy or sell decisions. So with this, let us start the JK Tyre company fundamental and technical study. So now I just wanted to let you know that the reason why I picked JK Tyre is because, as we know that Nifty Auto Index has been very much strong momentum from last few months. Let me show you with the chart. So if you see, the Nifty Auto Index has been very much bullish from August 2025. So far, it has made 20% returns and in correction in the middle. So whenever we see our auto index, it's not about just about auto manufacturers or any or commercial vehicles. There are a lot of players inside the auto industry. So let me show you with the image. Before this image, again, I just want to tell you that as I mentioned that there are a lot of players within the auto industries, like we have auto ancillaries, which provides the suppliers for the auto manufacturers. Again, we have auto manufacturers like TVS, Tata Motors, or Force Motors, Hero MotoCorp in two-wheeler segment. Again, Eicher Motors in commercial vehicle segments. With this, again, your tire companies like JK Tyre, Seat, Sandhar, again Balkrishna. So we have a lot of proxy players indirectly, at the auto index like tires. So now the reason why I picked tires, just because I feel somewhere that especially JK Tyre have the huge potential to grow in terms of technically and in terms of fundamentally. Technical aspects I will come back to later, but now let us proceed with the fundamental aspects, why I feel JK Tyre can have very good growth in upcoming quarters, and it can the catalyst which can be which can be really seen in the technicals as well. Because at the end of the day, as an investor, as a trader, the fundamentals and technicals should go like hand to hand, so that we trust the story by the stock and then we play through technicals for a trading or investments. So with this, let us start the JK Tyre. So what exactly JK Tyre does? JK Tyre is nothing but it's similar to other tire manufacturing company, where they produce the tires for the car, tractors, for all the commercial vehicles, and then they export to other countries as well. Now what it makes special, so that complete business study I'll be explaining you upcoming slide, but this is the overview of a JK Tyre company. Company produces the tires and then they supply to the lot of companies in domestically and internationally also. They export to a lot of countries worldwide. Now what exactly the complete business wise it does, if you see, JK Tyre manufacturing the tires for cars, trucks, bike and tractors and heavy machines as well. And they have, with this there is something unique about this business, as I mentioned, that they have the technology which can integrate with the tire. Ideally, if you see any tire companies, they don't have any technology that has in the tire. Like what technology they can provide, like whenever I think of it, like just before like 1 year or 2 year, like I think from past 15, whenever it's been so far history that there's nothing change, rapid changes happen in tire industries. Whenever it get puncture, we replace the tires or we get the puncture fix, or whenever there is a dip in the air, we just we just fill the air, that's it, nothing much. But JK Tyre has done something tremendous work in terms of their R&D, that they came up with the technology that they provide the smart tire concept with sensors. That the technology wise they brought the smart sensors, and with that they have the environment friendly called green tires. So with these two things, they have a huge demand in the market. So I'll explain later what the demand, what kind of demand they have and why it's so. Now this is the business of the JK Tyre company, and they have the 11 factories in India, and they produce over 35 millions annually, and they sell the tires to the car makers, and then they have the retail outlets across India and globally as well. This is the business of JK Tyre. So with this, let us proceed with the product wise. Like what are the products wise, why it makes more sense for them. As I mentioned, that they have brought the smart tires which gives the real-time air pressure alerts via sensors, and then there's something called puncture guard. So generally in a traditional tire, what happens is that whenever there is a puncture, we fix the puncture. But ideally, this is something which JK Tyre has done very good, is that I think more than up to 5 to 6, or they have the number which the tire can hold the puncture, so they don't need to fix the puncture. That's something called which they're involved in the tire industry completely now, the tire technology now. So with this manufacturing also, they brought something called UX screen. I'll explain these three concepts in depth in upcoming slides. Here I'm just giving overall view that these are the products they have, they have on the business, like innovation kind of smart tires, and the manufacturing they have something called UX green concept. So these three concepts I'll explain you in coming slides. Now, who are the customers? Like for example, any business to run, they should have the customers, right? Without the customers, there is no point of manufacturing any business. So when the JK Tyre manufactures their tires, they should have some customers to sold out. So who are their customers? They have very good customers like Maruti Suzuki, and then Tata Motors, Hyundai, Ashok Leyland, or TVS, Bajaj in two-wheeler segments, and in commercial way they have the Escort, Volvo. So these are their existing customers. Like they have the car makers, commercial fleets, and everyday drivers. That means individually, like they'll be replacing tires with the JK tires, and they have good outlets, and even they sell through online as well. These are the revenue streams, and these are their existing customers. And the business model, for any business to make it profitable, they have to work hard in the business models. To do that, we have to understand what the nature of business, how the business works. At least not in completely in depth. At least you have to understand how on eye level it works. So the basic business model is that similar to the bakery model. What exactly is a bakery model? Let's assume any bakery who want to manufacture a cake, they require raw materials. What kind of raw materials? They require oil, sugar, maida. So once they have that source, then they will do the cake and they'll sell to the retail customers, or they will sell via online. Similarly, what JK does is that they get the source of rubber, because rubber is the raw material for the tires. Once they get the rubber as a raw materials, then they do manufacture. Once the manufacture is done, then they sell via their own channel, like they distribute through their online stream, or they export to other countries, or they supply to their customers. So with this, they get the different ways of revenues. Like they made a premium products via, like for example, premium products in the sense, let's say a tire which has sensors, it's a different costing. The normal tire has a different costing. So with this, they have different revenue streams, like export to different countries where the currency has been appreciated, and they have very strong R&D team which creates unique compared to other other tire companies, and they are the very good dealer network across the country. So with this, these are different revenue streams which JK Tyre has. Now let's deep dive into what kind of business in-depth model they have, how it impacts their revenue or profitable factors. So with this, I mentioned that JK Tyre is unique because, as I mentioned in the second slide, that they come up with the smart, like what you call the smart sensors, like smart tires kind of concept. Other thing is the puncher guard and the UX screen. So now let us study about what exactly UX screen. So UX screen, as I think I told you earlier, that that's a normal traditional business which by using rubber they make tires. But here what happens is that they not only use the rubber, but 80% are from the recycled one. Imagine if the company, if investing like per tire, traditional, they'll be investing, let's say like 1000 rupees to manufacture a tire. Now immediately, like after certain years, that the technology comes that okay, no, I think we have to come up with a different technology, that let's use 80% through recycle, and let's use 20% rubber. So with this, what happens, instead of spending 1000 rupees for the tire manufacture, they reduce the cost of the manufacture come to 300 rupees, because rest 70 or 80% they use a recycled one, correct? With this, they are saving 700 rupees on each tire manufacturer, and that is impacting on the profitable business, and that's impacting on the business profitable also, right? So this is exactly what JK Tyre has cracked out actually. They came up with UX green tires. That means whenever they manufacture the UX green tires, that means they are using 80% through the recycled, and rest 20% is traditional rubber. With this, they came up with kind of that shift in this manufacturing technology, which led them to have the huge potential to grow further. And this way they're coming with the premium offerings for the commercial fleets as well. So this way the manufacturing sourcing strategy has helped them to get higher margin in their business and the higher revenue as well. This is the one of the major which they cracked it out. Actually, I don't think. I mean, there other tire companies, no one has so far implemented this. Only JK Tyre has done this. That's why I'm telling this company has a long way to grow and a heavy potential to grow out of it. This is one factor. I mean, one of the major reasons, and they use this as a tool actually. Basically, I'll come back to that later. But this is what the UX screen means. Now, this is simple. Now, how they integrated the core business model. Let's assume they need a rubber, right, to manufacture. Earlier, traditionally they have the what you call the rubber, but now with that they are adding the recycled also, integrated the recycled model also. What are the sourcing they get? They are diversified by the raw materials, like by getting the actual rubber, and then rest all is recycled. So with this, they have integrated this model to the JK Tyres, and JK Tyres has been using this as a tool for as a tool to showcase that, yes, see, look at this, we are using 80% recycled and 20% like normal traditional. This way we are coming with eco-friendly tires, so that has act as a premium product for them. So whenever any company which has a premium product, obviously their margin will be very much high, definitely. So because of this, they are they're the market leader now, JK Tyre, because the R&D team has innovated such a technology that like no other PR has done so far. So this is how they integrated their core business model. Now, when you look at the numbers, they produce 35 million tires per year. They have, as I mentioned, they have 11 factories across the globe, and they have 50. I mean, they generate almost 50,000 crore revenue completely, and they are the number one market leader in terms of commercial fleets or truck, bus, whatever you consider. They are the market leaders. Now, what are the stories I said? Ultimately, it has to reflect on the results, because price is the slaves of earning. So that's the reason I told you that no matter all the managements, all the companies gives the rosy picture. They tell all the stories, but end of the day, it should reflect on the results. Whenever these things align, then obviously technically also it will be showing same thing, right? So now when you look at the quarter 3 of financial year 26, 15% year on year, and then profit of 264% year on year, and margins are improving 30 to 15%, and debts are under control now. With this of 26, they come up with 11% revenue, profit of 42%. I think the stock also has gone more than 10% in last month. So this is what I told. No matter what the company does, ultimately it has to reflect on the earnings, and that's obviously will reflect on the charts as well. Now let us understand what are the future growth. Now let's assume any investor or a trader, whenever they take a trade or whenever they invest, ultimately future, at least the future is very much important, right? Like how the company growth works, like what are the things they do now, it should reflect in upcoming quarters, right? So let us understand what are the things that can trigger the JK Tyre to have the future potential. So when they look at this, they have a lot of future potential. First thing, the premiumization. As I mentioned to you that they are coming with the premium products, like as I mentioned, UX tires or smart sensors. These are the future triggers for them, and they have a lot of orders by the Hyundai, Tata, because of EV focus. As we know, the government also is focusing on EV aspects, and lot of companies are shifted to EV now. Because of that, they are getting lot of orders. Like Hyundai, at present they have the Hyundai and Tata EVs order. With this, they are able to get the 40 to 45% of premium share goal. That's their targeted now. And apart from this, they have capacity expansion. Since there is a huge demand, and as I mentioned, that even auto sector has been very much boom. They are planning to increase the capacity. So look at this, 130 crore investment, adding 7% capacity by Q2 of FY28. So this kind of, they are coming with the capacity, and even they are planning to increase their export as well. So once they get this done, like they have the EV focus, capacity expansion, market expansion, like future market more exports, and then they're planning to get the rural dealers for the agricultural commercial vehicles, and all this agriculture demand. Even government also is focusing on agriculture farming, right? So indirectly this also should get benefited, right? Like where people will purchase a lot of commercial or agricultural vehicles. So that has been one of the most things there as a growth trigger, and that's what I mentioned here. Look at the company aim to increase its share in iron tire segment 40-45%. So they're planning to get the premiumization tires. And look at the EV growth also. If you look at the EV growth, I think this also will grow significantly higher. and they have secured the new approval by the Hyundai, as I mentioned. Even Tata AVs and Hyundai also, they got the order from them. So they are ready with their product for future ready strategy also, with the smart sensors, UX tires and puncher card things. And they plan to, as I mentioned, they plan to have the capex also, which can have the, which can impact. And they are not only focusing about the volumes, they are also focusing about the premiumization, right? Like the premium product should get more value, correct? So this will increase their obviously EBITDA margin also, right? So with this is the growth triggers. And apart from this, as I mentioned that they are focusing on rural and exports also, that just look at this, almost over 100 countries. They're planning to increase their reach to over 100 countries now. And even government also is slightly concerned about the infrastructure, and they're planning to do a lot of capacity in terms of infrastructure and agriculture also, where they're planning to increase the agriculture. So that's the reason this JK Tyre also have a huge demand for sure. And as I mentioned, even CV also, commercial vehicles also have huge demand. If you look at the commercial vehicles, either Aisha Motors or Ashok Leyland, they have huge demand as of now. Because of that, JK Tyre will get definitely order. Look at this. The commercial vehicles demand to 1 million units in FY26. So these are the triggering points where the company requires, where any trader or investor requires, where they have future growth potential. And at the summary way, they are expected to grow 10 to 15% revenue growth, which is double digit obviously, and if in FY26, and the margin of 13-50% range, and that's what it's reflecting in financial also. So outlook, like completely on if you consider all these stories, and if you think what makes them special is that they are the only company which has this smart and green tires. No other tire company has this smart sensors and green tires. And in ESG rating also, they are morely focused on ESG rating, and they have very good ESG rating, actually that environmental rating. And they have very good R&D team. Because of that, they are able to integrate this smart sensors concept innovation in their tires. And the financial also, it's reflecting what are the R&D they does, it's reflecting on the financially also. Margin also, debt is coming down, capex is getting increased, when even the auto sector also is growing, right? And this is a normal traditional tires, and this is which they made smart tire concept, which impacting on the business also. And because of the US Green Initiative, they have taken this as a tool now. Like whenever they go to pitch to any customer, they pitch this US Green Tire. We are coming up with the 80% sustainable things, 20% we're using traditional. That's what they make. That's what the differentiator of them. And look at this, first in India for such green tires. No other company has done this. And as I mentioned, they have very good R&D team which does the innovation in the ultimate, and they have integrated also same thing. Now final verdict is that they have financially they have double digit growth, and they have very good massive PAT. And then the tech, I had the future growth is EV and the tech push. They are coming with again different innovations as well. So these are the fundamental aspects. Now when I look at the technical aspects, so look at this now. I think even I made a video on December also. We got a first entry point, again second entry point. Now I'm waiting for another entry point to add technically, because fundamental story is done. It's very good. I don't want to check any other parameters. Technical also very much strong. Look at the volumes now. Look over this volumes now. Right? Instead of getting story here and there, let's study companies and get the technical setup and then write the trend. Simple as that. Now this is what I have done now. Now December I missed the first entry, I entered second entry, now I'm waiting for another entry. Now this is what my process is all about for the investors or traders. Now with this I have listed lot of stocks where fundamentally very good and technical also about to align now. So with this I'll be studying this all companies, and if you see most of the stocks are from auto sector, because auto has been very much strong, right? And similarly, let me show you the peer of Apollo Tyre now. Look at this Apollo Tyre. Fundamentally fine, but for me technically as of now still it's not given a trigger, right? So I'm waiting. Now look at this chart. Look at JK Tyre. Forgot the names. Look at now JK Tyre when it was here, right? Now Apollo looks like something like similar to this structure, right? When it was here. Look at this. So I'm waiting Apollo to get also trigger of above 536, but now JK Tyre has already given a clear breakout. So I'll be studying this all names in upcoming weeks, and then I'll be taking every week at least 2 company studies with the technical setup. So whenever you find any technical good setup, study the companies And then if the story is catalyst good, then please continue the moment. If market environment is good, you can trade or invest with the proper risk management. So if you want to study like this about companies or any insights about trading or investment, kindly join our community, because we discuss a lot of technical aspects and fundamental aspects in our community, and there are different set of people who work on the different fundamental study of the company and give the insights, necessary invites. So I hope you like this video. Kindly subscribe our channel, and soon we'll be launching our website. Will be announced in upcoming days. So thanks for your support. Have a good day.